Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending our annual training seminar. Hooker Towing is devoted to employee motivation. We feel this is essential to the lifeblood of our company. This year we have chosen attitude as our objective. Human Resources has carefully selected a video for us to watch today. So we will have a halfway intermission through this video, so please pay attention and enjoy.
Thank you all very much. You know, I've always said when it comes to attitude, it's not what happens to us, but how we deal with what happens to us that makes the difference. You know, by far, the most important asset any of us have is our attitudes about the things that happen to us in our life and the job we have. Everything we do relates to attitude about relationship, or tasks, or events, or situations. You know this. Positive attitude says to me, not only can I get more done, but it's easier to get it done when I have a great attitude about it. I think the reverse is true, though, too. I mean, when my attitude's bad, I notice there's a lot more energy it takes to get things done, and usually other things get in the way that bother me in the process. Attitude is the reality of how we see everything that happens to us. So on page number 1, in the workbook in front of you, let's talk about some points that relate to attitude. Number 1, working with positive people makes the job easier. True or false? True. Working with positive people makes the job easier. Number 2, positive attitude equates to a positive personality. So in other words, typically, not based on what happened to you in your life or what's happened to you, but how you see it has a lot to do with the persona that you give to other people. If I feel positive about things, I tend to relate to other people in a better way. Number 3, one bad apple in the barrel, given enough time, can spoil the barrel. Now, I'm serious. I don't want to be too down about this because this is an attitude session, but how many times have I worked around somebody that, given enough time, affects my attitude? You know, for example, I remember one of the first jobs I had, you know, I thought I had a great idea, and I went to my boss and I said, I got a great idea, and unfortunately the first thing out of his mouth was, well, we've tried about everything around here. What's your idea? I shared the idea. He said, well, that's not going to work. We did that before. I went out of there telling other people what. Well, they tried that here, and it didn't work before. Because I always believe one person's attitude will tend to affect 5 or 6 other people's attitude given enough time. Number 4, you get what you expect. A number of years ago, I came across a philosophy that I tell a lot of people about. It's called high expectancy theory. It says, if you expect at a high level things to happen, things will happen. If you expect at a low level things to happen, things will happen. You know, we had a negative person working around us a number of years ago who was a vendor, actually, coming into the company, and it seems like nothing was going right. Well, they worked in what I call the crisis cycle of their job. You know what I mean? Wait till it absolutely has to get done and then leap on top of it, rather than the proactive cycle of their job. I think the challenge for all of us is to look at the things we want to have happen and then benchmark what level we want them to happen at, rather than the reverse. Number 5 is attitude equates to energy. How I see things directly relates to the energy level I have. And I typically meet people with high levels of energy, and I typically find the energy comes not necessarily, and I want to be careful about saying this, because they exercise every day of the week. It's because they have a great attitude about things that happen to them, so they use less energy in the process of getting things done because their expectancy level is higher. And finally, number 6 is we become like the people we're around. Now, that's a scary concept. You want to think about this. If you associate with negative people, you tend to become negative. And I have found in analyzing different workplace environments, because of the nature of the workplace over a number of years, the people working in that environment, because they're working around other people with a low expectancy, tend to have a low expectancy for the workforce. And rather than having a proactive, let's go to work and make this work today, they go to work saying, let's get through the day process. On page number 2 of the study guide you have in front of you, there's an interesting cycle that relates to all of this. And about 15 years ago, I did a study of this cycle. It was very interesting to me to find out that what happens to you will happen to you again. Isn't that interesting? Unless you do something about it. It's called the attitude cycle. It basically says things start with actions. And actions, as you can see there, follow to experiences. As a result of actions that I do, I have experiences. As a result of the experiences, I have reactions, which means I am conditioned based upon what happens to me and my experiences to the tendency of reacting again. Let me give you an example. If you grow up in an environment where people tell you more about what you can't do than what you can do, then every time somebody criticizes you for doing something, what's your reaction? Well, it's defensive. You take a defensive posture. And it's almost automatic. It's almost like somebody looks at you wrong, you know what I mean? And you move into that reaction mode. Reactions go to reinforcements. Once we get that reaction going, in terms of a repetitive response, then we look for reinforcements. Have we ever driven somewhere and say, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late? Why? Because I was late the last time. I mean, we associate with people, married to people who are often what? Late. Right. So what do? We say, hey, we're going to be what? Late. And we are what? Late. Thank you. And maybe we even try to get them there early, but it doesn't work because no matter how early you start them, they're still... How do you know this? That's all part of this cycle. So we look for reinforcements to reinforce the fact that this is true fact, and reinforcements create attitudes.
This is halfway through our video, so we will take a short intermission. Please don't go far. We will return in just a few short moments. If you do have to leave for any reason, please check in with Jackie from HR in the back of the room so that she can send you the rest of the meeting's minutes. Thank you.